I'm just gonna say the same thing, the two what ifs from the last video of this, the two Deckies ones, comment down which one, or go to the old video and like one of them, either or. Just say that. Hope you like this what if, and goodbye. After how they are different from a month of training, from what they used to be, was established, it would be in the middle of the race whenever they get to a canyon. Of course, it would be easier for them to cross since they sort of have a flying technique, you could say. So yeah, so it wouldn't be too hard for them to get across it, while it would be a struggle or a task for others. So yeah. But when they get across, both Deku and Bakugo would look at each other. Whenever they do this, they would both, you could say scowl at each, or more like smile, but for Bakugo it looks more like a scowl to everybody else. So yeah. So whenever this happens, they'll both speed up with their quirks, with both of their explosions changing. Deku's explosions would pretty much elevate to kind of a very bright color, like a very bright yellow. No orange at all, it's almost shining. While Bakugo's would turn into a darker color compared to what it used to be. But when this happens, they would speed up fast as they can, and they would fly across this area going to the canyons. At the canyon, or not at the canyon, but at the mines, they would speed across it just the same, shooting off explosions from Deku that would lit off the other mines, while Bakugo, whenever he glides on top of them, would cause them to explode, which wouldn't do nothing to them since they speed across it until they get past it. So yeah. But when they make it past it, it would come down to the last stretch, with both of them putting all they got into it. And all they got would end up with Deku winning with a giant explosion that he uses to push back Bakugo and land in front of him, passing him by a split second, with Bakugo keeping his composure and getting angry a little bit, but you mostly keep calm the best you can do. But Deku would be declared the winner by a split second, almost a half a second margin that Deku won by. So yeah. But now it's time for the whole, what's it called again? I forgot. Oh yeah, the cavalry battle. It would be Deku and with the same team, and Bakugo with his team of people that can withstand his quirk slightly. So yeah. not taking damage. That was confusing. But making it to this point, everybody in Class 1A would ask why did they like change and what they do and all that. Since everybody can notice how Bakugo is fighting different and how Deku is. But they would just said that they trained and it'd be time for the cavalry battle. In the cavalry battle, it would end up with, wait, did I say they had the same team? No, I mean their team switched. Since Deku's using a stronger explosions that would harm them, and Kirishima can withstand them if he's like the front of them. So yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm sorry, but yeah. So when it comes down to it would happen about the same, but Todoroki wouldn't win. I would say that Deku's million would be lost in scatters. It would be lost into all they did. Since most of the headbands that Deku threw the explosion at would have been destroyed. And it would be nobody could figure it out. Since all the headbands were destroyed, so that match would be given to nobody. So yeah, those points do not count. So it comes down to the next one. If Deku wins it, then he would win, but if somebody else wins it, they have to come up with a new match. Matches versus for Deku would be the same. It would be what's this dude's name? Shinso versus Shinso. He would wipe him out in one clean swoop, flinging his hand across the ground, which would explode all the rock beneath him, with the explosion hitting Shinso, launching him out the ring in one swift move. But after this, it would be the next battle. With this battle being him versus Uraraka. Which, versus Uraraka, Deku would charge towards her, with her being infused, since he doesn't have any sparks in his hand. He's seeming not to throw any explosions. Getting up to her, jumping above her, with her being infused. And he would take his elbow and throw an explosion with his other hand. Would slam her in the back, which would knock her to the ground before she goes to touch him. But he would put her into a knockdown position, keeping her from moving. So yeah, he would show pretty much his able to fight in a combat situation, winning that match. With this match being won, it would be time for the next match. The next match would be him versus Bakugo. Since Bakugo won against Todoroki. Him winning against Todoroki would surprise some people, and definitely Endeavor, since Shota did use his quirk to his fullest almost instantly, since he was caught off guard with Bakugo ending up in front of him, getting ready to shoot him with it. Oh my god, they talked to him. About to hit him with some kind of weird explosion in his hand. But it'll be them versus with President Mike saying, Oh my god, it's the matches of the explosion quirks. Who would win? We'll see who's stronger. And you come to it. Whenever it's time for the match, you would end up with this happening. Both Bakugo and Deku launching off against each other at their fastest speed. This is almost an air battle to everybody else, since their explosion quirks are so, their ability to battle in the air is very high, mastered over it. But with them being in the air, it would come down to Deku throwing massive explosions while Bakugo is using his own long-range explosion technique, which he calls the piercing bullet. So he calls it the AB shot. Just keep that thing how he made the AP shot. It's the AB shot. So yeah. This shot that he uses is almost a concentrated shot of explosions, but it's bright red color of explosions. With this explosion, he shoots it off like a bullet, and it'll hit against somebody, hitting into them, then exploding. Like if it was some kind of armor, it would pierce inside of it, then explode it from the inside. So yeah, that's why it's a B shot. Armor bullet. So yeah. But with this battle being in the air, their backlash of explosions would still be up there, which would put wind to the ground, and the arena below them would suffer the fate, showing that their two quirks hitting each other can break the ground below them, with them thinking of stopping the match, but they continue with a Deku speeding up and explosions, almost like he was just a rocket, completely beating Bakugo in speed in this moment, using his quirk around his body, smashing into Bakugo, grabbing onto him, with them blasting towards the ground, with Bakugo being confused, and Deku would say, "Final move, the end up bomb," with Bakugo feeling the explosions bouncing off of Deku's body, hitting against him this whole time. And whenever it hits him, the explosion would go off, with both Deku and Bakugo being completely hurt, but both of them will still be up. With Deku saying, "I thought that would take you down. I was practicing to withstand that myself, but I didn't know that you would be strong enough to withstand it. But I guess you wouldn't be Bakugo if you couldn't." So yeah. Whenever it's time for this, now Bakugo says to him that it's time to finish this in our own professions, with Bakugo loosening up his stance. And whenever he does this, his hands will start sparking with explosions, almost like fire off of his hands right now. In a fiery turn, while Deku is charging up a blast of almost plasma, which would cover his hands, sticking to him, and they would shoot off their attacks. Ending out with Cementos, covering the field in cement, but the cement would almost disappear like it was melted, not exploded, from their attacks, with them both ending up shot back with their arms broken, and yeah, that would be the end result of their battle. With they're looking at the footage, who went down first and all that. But this would be declared as the first sports festival that was undecided. But they go undecided, but then the brought up that Deku did win the race, so they would compromise with this, and Deku would be declared the winner. After that last match, not able to figure out who won. But they will go off with one more test. With the last one, they're redoing the whole cavalry battle, with Shinso coming in on that one. So, how this Shinso's having first place, while Todoroki would have second place and third place on the race. But since he did have third place on the race, I would say that Shinso would lose to him, going into fourth place. But I would say being fourth place on being a C class member, going against the three strongest of the of 1A and all that. That, as I would put in good word on him and all that, and he would be put into the class. But this decade's still coming first in Bakugo, but they cannot be congratulated since they're both in the infirmary, with the recovery girl not allowing to, not said that she won't heal them, so they didn't. And whenever Cementos goes back to see how strong they got and what did they do to that, what did they do? The end result of this huge cement cement block that he made, which what would be the size of one of their training buildings? For quirks, 50 feet in width and 50 feet in height. Width would be 70, and how long it is sideways would be, just to keep it a square, it would be 72. And what would be the end result of this pillar? It would be the same as what happened to the cement that Cementos put up against to stop and limit their attacks. It would be molten rock. So with this molten rock pile, that would be the representation of their full powers with their broken arms, since the recovery girl would explain that she was planning on not healing them again, but she did heal them before after this, saying about how they healed right after the USJ, or how she healed them right before the whole sports festival. So yeah, but this would be the end of the sports festival, with them both being very strong. Goodbye.